Still got a little more sidekicks to come. Happy to have Francis Stevens and Chris Black with us. Last weekend in high school soccer, we had games coming down to the last second. Valiant efforts from all the teams in our area, and we still have one more alive.
Yeah, and then there was one. So we'll get to Ottawa Hills in a bit. But yeah, the Anthony Wayne team, great run again this year in the girls' side Division I. And in the end, came up against a really good opponent. Magnificat has done a lot of things right this year. They've had some up and down games, but they're peaking at the right time. It just took a little bit, but Cure, with 3 minutes left, finally, I think the wind aided, we'll call it wind aided off that back post to put them away at 3 minutes left. But it was a fun game to watch. I think Anthony Wayne, they did well.
And when you've lost so many Division I players that they've had, in the last couple of years, even some solid players that are playing down at University of Findlay, some other really good D2s, for them to make that run again this year with a new team was really, really special. And I think, some names that you have to really start to think about. They did this all without Sophia Eicher, who tore her ACL against Perrysburg in late September. And sure enough, this team got there because of a couple young freshmen, Lila Simon and Lydia Smucker. Those two players are going to be very, very special for this Anthony Wayne side. And again, Lori Williams, the well has not going to run dry for her.
Okay, so for the Ottawa Hills boys, they are playing for a state championship, making another run. 6 down, 1 to go. When you get to this stage, you're in Columbus. What's different playing with it all on the line?
They don't ask me. He's played for it. I've never had. So I've been to a state semifinal, but in this situation here, a lot of these kids were not a part of that team in 2017 that made a run. Coach Nate Baer, who's now at Mason High School, was a part of that staff, and Brian Hannydale wasn't even on the staff at that time frame. But this team, a familiar foe in a state final. Grandview Heights. Ottawa Hills beat Grandview Heights 2-0 the last regular season game of the season. Cardinal Mooney beat Ottawa Hills in the middle of September. Ottawa Hills beats them 1-0 in the state semifinal. Could this be a potential rubber match for Grandview Heights? Playing literally probably about 5 miles away from the stadium, from Grandview to where Lower.com field is. But I really like what this Ottawa Hills team has done. Brandon Lingo has been so dynamic for them down the stretch. Alex Duran, Elijah Shetterly has done great. But I think defensively, with Emilio Duran, Emmy didn't play last year for them. He's been a very, very key vitalist. And now he gets to go on a field that's really big and smash balls anywhere he wants.
Yeah, and watching that last game, and you could watch it on the app, as I did. Watching that game on the app as much as I could. You look at this time of year, the kids are just, they're practically on autopilot anyways. Brian Hannydale's trying to get guys to go all in the same direction, or probably have an idea, but it's especially hard to tell a guy to go to the corner, with a few seconds left. And Evan West, I'll tell you what, he might not have scored that goal, but he is the only West in the family to get to a state final. So kind of chew on that one there, uncles.
But I didn't say that, Aaron or Alec, if you're watching. So.
But that being said, it is hard because they're rolling pretty well. They didn't even expose, I think, as much as they could have. Duran had a lot more opportunities on the outside, but it wasn't needed, or just didn't get those opportunities in that game. You've got to stay in that moment. You can't think about the state title. You can't think about losing the state title. You can't think about the score. It's getting the next one, being in this moment, because there's so much energy, so many emotions that run over. It'll just wipe the kids out if they're trying to stay out there and get all hyped up the whole time. You've got to stay cool, calm, enjoy the journey. You get 80 minutes guaranteed at this point. So take the minutes. Take the minutes, get to the end, and then hope there's only 80, and hoping you're holding the gold trophy instead.
And that's the biggest thing. I will say this. Remember my mom, when I was running track, when I was like 8 or 9 years old, never wanted to run across the finish line. They've ran this race from August 1st. They're in the final stretch. There's going to be a guy at the end of that finish line with a trophy. Either there's going to be gold, there's going to be silver. Finish the race. Finish the job. I think if they do those things, they're going to be just fine. And Brian Hannydale, this guy who's had to come in, and after Nate Baer, what he's built there and what he did in those years that he was there, to come in and do what he's done has been really, really wonderful to see. And even with not a lot of depth either. They don't really have a lot of depth, but, you're still back in this game is really impressive. So, the Green Bears, was hoping they go back down. They could bring something to the village not too far from where we're at right now, right?
That's right. And we're not finished with them. When Sports Nightly returns, we will hear from the team as they get ready to go down to state. Chris Black, Francis Stevens, as always, pleasure to have you with us.